Alright, today we're going to talk about the Ooni Karu, and I'll give you a couple of tips that I've got here. As you can see, it says 52 degrees, so right now I had it at Fahrenheit. I'm just going to turn that off right now because I'm just saving battery, but I've used it several times already and it's working really well for us. It probably needs to be cleaned out a little bit more on the, and I try to keep this pretty clean, but I've only used it for wood and charcoal, lump charcoal. Here's what we've got right here for the wood. I've got scraps because my family does woodworking, and then I've got wood scraps, and then I've got a little bit of paper in there and lump wood charcoal. So let me clear this out here. So obviously when you use wood, you're going to get a lot more, you'll get a lot more buildup of creosote and things like that. So you do have to clean out the chimney every once in a while, but it's really a nice sweet. Go back there, all the way back. Close that. Go to the other side and make sure everything is just about where we want it. And I know a lot of people like to use those torches. So far, I've not needed a torch. You just have to be a little patient. And when you light it, make sure that you get it lit in a couple different spots. Gotta get over here. Some of this wood just catches pretty quickly anyway. Okay, and then just close it and just let it do its thing. At first it can look like this and you'll think, oh, it's not going to catch, it's just going to go out. But as you can see, it doesn't take much work to get it going. Obviously, if you want to use one of those torches, you can get it going a bit faster, but it really isn't necessary. And we'll have it going in a few minutes here. So there we go. I did have to light one more spot in the center there, just to on the left, just to make sure that that little piece of wood caught fire. But there's super thin slices, basically, from planing, and those work really well. I've used pine cones, a little bit of paper. I have a little bit of paper in there right now too. So just anything of that sort should work fine. One thing I should mention is it's kind of cool outside here. Probably the outdoor temperature, sorry about that, the outdoor temperature is probably in the 40s with the sun hitting this. It's obviously a little warmer, but usually at night we've had some pretty cold temperatures in the, definitely below freezing. So we take the thermometer off and remove the stones so that they don't have any kind of thermal shock when we start everything up again. And then I put everything in the sun. Once it gets a little warmer, once the stove's a little warmer in the sun, then I bring out the stones and things get working, and it looks like it's wanting to go out again, but it's going to be fine. I just have to add a little bit of wood right at those spots. Okay, looks like we've got a little bit better fire going now, and it'll just take a few more minutes for everything to catch everywhere, and then I'll add a little bit larger pieces of wood because I want to get the temperature up a little more. I have it turned down right now. I mean, I don't have this guy on right now, but okay. So it's already 104, which is nice. It'll take a while longer for that to warm up, so I don't bother to keeping it on. Okay. All right, and then some of the other useful tools because I like to use this if I want to move stuff around in the back. I like to use a glove so I don't burn myself, because it's very easy, even when you take the lid off here and you put it on here, you can easily burn yourself along here if you're not careful. But a lot of times, here, I'll keep this closed, I take the tongs, which seem to make it a little bit easier, and longer tongs are even better once it gets super crazy in there. Yeah, move these around a little bit, and now we need to get the wood in there more, get more wood going. There we go. Gotta add more wood, and I'll do that in a minute, but let me just get that started. Okay, once we've got our wood looking pretty good, we can open this up, put a couple other pieces in. I'll just scoot them around. I mean, sometimes I use my, let's see if we got that in okay. All right, and then if you want to be more precise, just bring in, that'll probably work pretty well in a minute. Let me close it. Let's go see what we're doing on the other side here. All right, that's gonna get some good temperature going out here. And then, yeah, as long as you can get the door closed and everything's in there pretty well, you're pretty good. Let's check the temperature. 170. I should mention that I do like the Ooni turning peel. I like the design and the length. It's pretty good. But I did opt for another brand, more of a generic brand for my regular peel. And this definitely works best for me. I have a wooden peel as well. And that one I use for, occasionally I use it to put the pizza on first and then pop it in here. But I actually just prefer using the metal one because it's a lot easier to just stick it on there and then just get it in, launch with no problems. So now the fire is looking pretty good, and I'll be back probably in about 10 minutes. I may have to add a little more to that, but I like to get it up to about 750, 650, 750 Fahrenheit. I'm using a New York style pizza recipe from Serious Eats, Kenji. What's his name? Yeah, Kenji Lopez Alt. And yeah, it seems to work well. It's not really Neapolitan style, but for some reason it always seems to come out that way anyway. Yeah, so we've got some good roaring fire going there, and it's about 255 degrees, and when it starts to drop a little bit, I add a little bit more wood to keep it going. And I do have charcoal, so that'll keep things going nicely too. Okay, see the temperature is starting to drop instead of go up, so this is when we add a little bit more fuel. And then, I mean, I've got more pieces that I'm going to add than this, but here are a couple pieces. I'll probably get a couple larger pieces, and then we'll see how it's doing in another few minutes. So I want to point out that when the flames are this high, you do not want to start making pizza. You'll just burn the top off, and it'll be awful. Temperature is good, 762, so I like to wait. As soon as it starts to drop back down, that's about when I like to start. I like to try to launch a pizza. Here we are. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this one in, and then I've got some extra toppings that I'm going to put on later. So here we go. I already made one pizza, so this one the stone might be a little hotter. So I just have it the door open a little bit because you see some flame there. That keeps it from getting too much. I'm just keeping it underneath a little so that the bottom doesn't burn. But I don't mind if I make a few mistakes here and there because I think it's good for everyone to see how an imperfect pizza can be made too. Okay, we're getting closer. I like to pull it away from that flame a little too, and I just leave the door open most of the time just to keep that heat too, you know, because I don't want to, I'm not making a Neapolitan style, and you see the temperature is about 615. I'd say that we're close here. Let's see. All right, that's usually seems to be done under a minute most of the time for me. Let's see. Whoop. Getting a little close there. I'm still learning how to use the turning peel. I've only had this oven for like, I think I'm done here. Just a minute. So this is only the second week, or actually the third week I should say, that I've used it. I skipped a weekend. I think it looks pretty good. We'll be eating this in just a minute, but it really is quick even when you're doing a slightly different style. It's somewhere between a New York and a Neapolitan. Got here, let's see, has a nice crunch. Sometimes these are hard to cut. I'll worry about that later. Let's see how the inside is. It's got something in between the New York style, and it's not as airy as the one I made last week, but that's okay. It still looks great, and it still has a crunch and softness on the inside.